we'll go over the HQ, and we'll set this back up. So today we're going to be explaining the ideal route in which you should be prestiging. What I mean by that is, we're going to be explaining when you should be using your prestige tokens on what. We're going to be discussing what the best time to first prestige is. This will be... I needed to wait until I was actually eligible to prestige to explain it best. But... we'll start by... we'll start first off in a minute. I didn't get my daily login, which kind of sucks. So, when we talk about when to prestige... orders available. What orders are available? I don't know. Anyways. So, when we look at prestiging here, you gotta come over to this man over here. And this part of the map and headquarters only opens up when you are actually able to prestige. The first thing you need to do is you need to look at what your current inventory is first. So, you've got to know what is a box gun and what unlocks naturally. For example, this gun right here is something that only unlocks from a division prestige. This gun is a box gun. If you look at your snipers, these three are things that will unlock with the tokens. This is unlocked by a division prestige, and then everything below it are all things that unlock with, they all unlock from boxes. The machine guns, these three right here, all unlock from the boxes, and this unlocks from a division prestige, and everything else is a box gun. The key here, what I want to point out, is you want to make sure you look and see what you have for what do you rely off of non-prestige items. So, for example, everything from the bar up are all guns that unlock with prestige tokens. The SVT-40 here unlocks from a division prestige, and the AS-44 unlocks with a division prestige. Now, why does the division prestige matter so much? Another thing comes with basic trainings. So for basic trainings, I already did a video on the other day, these first 9 here are automatically unlocked, and the rest of these unlock with tokens, except for starting with scopes going down, these all unlock from division prestiges. The thing with the division prestige is that when you do the division prestige with this gentleman over here, you get to permanently keep that. You don't lose any of the guns or anything like that. So, when you go to prestige your character, you lose all this stuff inevitably, it's worth noting what you have and what you use and rely on. So I'm going to prestige now, just to show you.
Prestige for a well-deserving soldier.
So now I have a prestige unlock token, which lets me permanently unlock something. Now, why would I want to permanently unlock something? Well, you'll see in a minute when we look at that same lineup of what I have available again. I'll also have to remake a lot of these builds. I get an extra class slot, which is nice and handy.
To giving me orders. Well done.
So, let's look now. I'll have to redo all of these classes, which kind of sucks. So let's look at what you have. You see how all of this stuff becomes gradually blocked off. Now, I used a prestige token on the bar, and I also used a prestige token on my gas grenade. And you see this little indicator right here? This lets you know when things unlock. It's very important to understand what you use a lot of in order to determine. So first off, the first thing that we're going to talk about are score streaks. Score streaks, you should never use a basic, a prestige token on one of these, because these unlock at varying levels. They're not really things that you need to do too much of. The basic 3 that you have right here are pretty good. You should never use a prestige token on one of these. Most of the ones that you're going to use unlock fairly quickly, unless you absolutely have to have, like, the ball turret gunner or the emergency airdrop, then you can do that. For the divisions itself, basic trainings is another one. looking at the basic trainings that you have to use tokens to unlock, the only two that you should even consider on using it on is Forage or Flanker, because of how high up it takes to get to these levels right here. Forage is the only one. I think Flanker's shit, but Forage is the one I would recommend. That's level 47. If you Hustle unlocks at 16 and Rifleman unlocks at 12, these are relatively cheap enough to where it doesn't really become an issue not having one of these two abilities, unless you absolutely need Rifleman. Rifleman and Forage would be the two I would recommend. Now, for lethal grenades, it really comes down to what you find you using the most. If you use satchel charges, whatever you use the most here, I wouldn't recommend it for the sticky grenades, because you'll get that at level 9 anyways. The mines are level 22. That's generally the range when I would consider taking something. Now, if you notice what I used my two things on, I used it first on the gas grenades. Gas grenades unlock at level 29, and that's a very important thing to understand. Level 29 is pretty high up there, and I rely on gas grenades. And the other one that I used was the bar, mostly because with the bar, it unlocked at level 52, and it's quite possibly the strongest rifle. So I did use it on the bar. Now, if you look at each of these categories, so what should you use this prestige token on? Well, I have a decent amount of guns back here to back me up. I have the GD79, I have the AS44 from the Division Prestige, the M2 Carbine, the Type 5, and the SVT40. Now, two of these are marksman rifles. One is a slow, and I have one slow auto, medium semi-auto, and one quick semi-auto. So I'm pretty well covered for all the different types of rifles. Plus the default 1941 that everyone has. Plus I'll have access to the M1A1 Garand with a regular token. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand. If you have access to a gun with a regular token, or it levels up fairly quickly, a great example of this is the STG-44, which is a unlocks at level 15, you shouldn't use a token for it. Looking at submachine guns, while I hate the grease gun, most of my favorite guns I already have unlocked. For example, the MP40 and the ZK383. The only other gun I really consider is the Type 100, but that unlocks at level 11, so I'm not really concerned about that. The PPSH-41, which I'm actually working on right now for a division, well, the reason why I'm not going to use a division token on it is because I can use a regular token on it. Same when looking at the light machine gun. The only light machine gun that's worth a slot, one of the prestige tokens, is the Bren. And there's no point in doing that because it unlocks at rank 14. When it comes to shotguns, the drilling in the toggle action are both things. Now, there's no point to unlocking the drilling with the prestige token ever. The reason why is because the sawed-off, as long as you have this unlocked, is essentially the exact same gun. So, there's that. The toggle action is the only gun that is worth using in this slot, but I wouldn't necessarily use a prestige token on the toggle action unless you absolutely have it. For me, and what we're actually going to be using the prestige token on, we're going to be using on the 1903, because at rank 41, it is the highest rank gun that I want to have. Therefore, I'm kind of going to use it. Sniper rifles. Now, another thing that I could potentially use is on the machine pistol, which unlocks at rank 33. However, I'll use that on my next prestige token. So now it's come to we're going to spend that token, and I'm going to show you how to do some setups. So, the rank unlock token. Okay. So now we're going to set up some builds here. I'm currently working on the 1911. So this is going to get the first slot. Mag, full metal, reflex, grip. when you look at the basic trainings, remember how I said you get to keep, in a previous video, I said you get to keep all of these basic trainings. Well, the great news about all that is some of these are the better basic trainings in the game. So I can put on Concussed and go to my pistol. This build is already set up. Although, it needs to be... Oh, shit. Alright. Cavalry. Kill counter on. Oh, wait, I'm going the wrong way. And when I get my sticky grenades, I'll be sure to put that in. Alright, so this one is my airborne division. My airborne division, I'll take this. Because you can see what guns I'm actually working on right now. This process of going in and setting up is a good way to determine what you do and do not like. Armored. So I'm going to be bringing a sniper rifle for this build. Now the sniper I unfortunately need to work on is the carabine, which I don't like. Yes, I am. Yes, I am going to bore you to death with this. At least I'm not putting on, like, all of my cosmetics and everything. Anyway, this is how you should proceed.